We've got some new details as to why the Witcher 4 team and CD Projekt Red chose Ciri as the main protagonist for the game. Roll this up over at fandompulse.com. You can find the link in the description below. I encourage you to head on over there, become a paid subscriber, help support us in fighting back against the woke infection that is trying to destroy the video game industry and culture and society at large. It costs less than a Starbucks coffee, just $5 a month. We are fully reader funded and are supported by you. So we got this interview here that narrative director Philip Weber conducted with Eurogamer's Chris Tapsell. He was also joined by game director Sebastian Kalemba, and he shared one of the reasons the company chose Ciri. I've talked about this in a previous video, but wanted to just reiterate it here because I do think it is important. And he said this: I think for me, and I think for all of us at CD Projekt Red, it's also just really exciting to see all the opportunities that Ciri brings us, both with her character and also by just virtue of who she is, what we can do with her in terms of the gameplay as well. So clearly indicating that she is going to likely have different abilities than what we've seen with Geralt and what is typical of a Witcher. Obviously, Ciri being a source and being trained as a sorceress, she's going to have more abilities. So that is interesting. I think that is like probably the one thing that I actually believe. Her character and virtue of who she is. I'm not sure if I really buy that. I think that player-created character allows you to do all of these things that you likely wanted to do with Ciri as well. What is interesting is they were actually asked by Tapsell as to why they chose Ciri over a player-created character, and this is what Weber said, or how he answered. I think, honestly, this character-driven storytelling has been always in the DNA of our Witcher games, first with Geralt, and then, of course, we started setting up Ciri as a second protagonist in The Witcher 3. That's a lie. They were not setting up Ciri as a protagonist in The Witcher 3. I know there's going to be plenty of people that are going to argue that's exactly what they did. That's like the main ending. That's what the ending that they were trying to get. Well, why did they have all the other endings then? Sorry, I don't believe that. There's the ending where she dies or at least disappears. That is not setting up someone to be a second protagonist. There's also the ending where she becomes the Empress. That does not also seem to be an ending where you're setting her up to be the protagonist. I just do not buy that. I think that is gaslighting. I think that people are just trying to rewrite that, and I think that people are also trying to make their own headcanon into reality, and the fact that they're doing this allows them to justify that even more. But I do not think that they were actually setting up Ciri as a second protagonist in The Witcher 3. Just do not believe that whatsoever. Anyways, goes on and says, and now we want to continue with her as well. But as an example, one thing I can also say, one of the things that makes Ciri into an interesting new protagonist for us is, of course, also that she is at the beginning of her journey as a Witcher. So again, you're basically giving a new Witcher, creating a new Witcher. Why not just make it be a a player-created character? Why not just do that? Because that does seem like what you want. And he goes on and says this, though. So as an example, Geralt was very, very experienced already. He went through so many things. And he created his own code, his value of neutrality. He created through so many experiences. And Ciri still has to make many of those experiences. She has to go through so many of these things. So in a way, even though Ciri is, of course, a defined character, with her, players will have the opportunity to still define her quite a bit more. Specifically, define the path that she will take on her way to becoming a Witcher, and basically also what kind of person that will make her. Again, this sounds like a player-created character. I mean, you're literally being able to define the character. You make the choices of the character. You get to define the path that the character chooses on the way to becoming a Witcher, and then basically what kind of person that character becomes, right? Or the personality that character has. And that all sounds like something that you get with a player-created character that you would not need for Ciri. So I don't really understand how this is an answer explaining why they chose Ciri over a player-created character. Maybe I'm completely missing something here. If so, let me know in the comments. But all of this sounds like reasons why you would choose a player-created character over Ciri, because Ciri is already a defined character. She already has a story that is in the books, that is in the Witcher games. And it sounds like they basically just want to, in my opinion, I think this is all a bunch of word salad for we just wanted a female character and we wanted to do that. And it's literally Star Wars Outlaws, right? They instead of giving us Han Solo, they gave us Kay Vess, which is basically like a watered down milquetoast loser version, female version of Han Solo. And I think that's what they're doing here. I think that's exactly what they are doing here with The Witcher. They are simply just trying to replace another male character, another male protagonist with a female protagonist. We've seen this time and time and time again over the last decade or so. Luke Skywalker replaced by Rey. They're replacing Tony Stark with Ironheart. They're even replacing male villains with female characters. Look at Taskmaster in Black Widow. We see this over and over and over again, and it's clearly a trend. And I think that CD Projekt Red here is trying to justify all of this, but it's all just a facade. This is clearly being done as part of their DEI agenda, which is all over their website and on their YouTube channel as well. Nevertheless, we also got some details as to what that path will be and the challenges players will face in order to define Ciri. Weber shed some light after being asked about a theme of violence against women being in the game. He was specifically asked this by Tapster, or whatever. What is that the guy's name? I don't even remember what the guy's name is. The Eurogamer guy. Tapsel, not Tapster. Tapsel, sorry. But this is what he asked. Is that an intentional theme that you were channeling with the trailer? And also, is it something you're intentionally looking to explore in the game? The experience of a woman in particular through Ciri's eyes in this world. Again, this is exactly what they want, right? They want to tell the story of a female, right? Which is a female who's acting like a man, right? Doing all of these manly things. Being a witcher is what a man does. But can't have that. Can't have that. Not in our feminist world, our feminist liberal world that is now being injected into this dark fantasy folklore. And Weber says this. I mean, I would say the world of The Witcher is a really dark one. That's really inspired by, of course, dark fantasy folklore, but also medieval to early Renaissance history. And that is a world that was tough for many different groups, women among them. As an example, in The Witcher, we also deal a lot with racism when it comes to non-humans. And this is something that we want to keep up with The Witcher 4. I think it's something that has always been really important. We make games for adults, and it also means that we tackle some difficult topics. We tackle them in interesting ways. We tackle them without giving easy answers, but often opening difficult questions that players have to answer. And I think some of those questions might be going in this direction as well, because, yeah, Ciri is a woman, and as a Witcher in this world, this is an unusual state. So I don't think it's going to be this story everywhere, but since this is a part of this world, and we want to tackle so many of those different themes, it's definitely also going to appear there as well. So they want you to define it, right? He's up here telling you that you're going to define her path. You're going to basically be able to dictate the kind of person that she is that will make her. But then they're also going to tell you here that they have all of these themes that they want to address in the game as well. So I have a feeling that there's going to be some woke moralizing here going on. They can cloak it in kind of relativism here. We're just opening difficult questions that players have to answer, but I have a suspicion that there will definitely be rewards for certain choices, punishment for other choices, which I'm not against. I actually think that is what we should be doing, but it should be based on real morality, Christian morality that comes from God, not from this moral relativism that descends from liberalism that has really eroded much of our society. It's one of the big problems. People thinking that they have their own truth, and that's what really matters, and there isn't an actual real truth. It's just utterly ridiculous. So that is the latest, obviously, from Philip Weber explaining why they chose Ciri. I don't really think they give us a really good answer. I don't think he really gives us a good answer there. I just don't think that this is a good explanation, right? None of this justifies why Ciri would be the main protagonist, especially when he was asked about choosing Ciri over a player-created character, because all of his reasoning seems like you would have a player-created character. because you are able to like define all of this stuff, make all of these own choices outside of a character who already has a significant story and lore and history, which they clearly seem like they're going to be changing because they're telling you can define all of this stuff, basically what kind of person she's going to be. Like, no, we already know who Ciri is. Like, what are you even talking about? We don't want to change who she is. It sounds like that's what they're doing. So again, why did you not just make a player created character? So that's the latest, but we also had gotten some previous commentary. This is from the executive producer, Malgorzata Mitrega. She spoke with IGN, saying that Ciri was, quote, the very organic, logical choice. And she elaborated, saying it was always about her. Starting from Saga, when you read it in the books, she's an amazing layered character. And of course, as a protagonist, we said goodbye to Geralt previously. So this is a continuation, I guess, for all of us. It's like she was meant to be. That was always her. Well, if you say goodbye to Geralt, did you not say goodbye to Ciri as well? I just really don't understand any of this. It really doesn't make any sense. I think it's all gaslighting in order to just try and justify why they're doing Ciri instead of going back to Geralt or doing a player-created character. I mean, I talked about this in a video yesterday. Weber literally tells Eurogamer that he would be totally fine making games about Geralt, and he would be totally satisfied and happy doing that. Like, he literally says that. So why aren't they doing that? Because I'm pretty sure that's what most Witcher players would like. They would be totally fine going back and telling stories about Geralt earlier in his life. I think that is definitely something that would be interesting for a lot of players. And that would be an organic, logical choice, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Because again, The Witcher is Geralt. I know a lot of people are going to argue that. In fact, we've got this guy here, Kyan Mar, who I've talked about, done a video on him. He's the franchise and lore designer. He wants to punch gamers. He thinks that the Witcher as a title refers to both Geralt and Ciri and always has. This is what they tried to do with The Mandalorian, Season 3. They tried to say that the Mandalorian title also belonged to Bo-Katan. It didn't end well for that series. Season 4, who even knows what's happening? Doesn't look like it's happening. And they're doing a movie, and it's unlikely that that movie is going to do anywhere near the box office of Rogue One or even the trilogy stuff. It's probably will do better than Solo, but doubt it will do what the numbers they're probably need it to do or what they're hoping it will do. So Geralt is the Witcher. Ciri is not. Ciri is not a Witcher. She's not a Witcher at all. She never went through the Trial of Grasses. She doesn't become a mutant, etc. That's not in the games. It's not in the books. It's not. It's not in the Netflix show. It's not there. It doesn't exist. But they're changing that for The Witcher 4, so they can replace Geralt with Ciri as the Witcher. Like, that's literally what they're doing here. I mean, I think it's very clear. So we also got this from Kalemba, the game director. He says she's actually about to become the Witcher. She's about to actually form her own codex, but on her own terms. The way she actually deals with the monsters, the way she deals with quests, the adventures, it's her own unique way. Again, this sounds like what you would be saying about a player-created character. And also, I think that she gives more room to be able to tell different stories here and there. Of course, we want to give the opportunity for the player to explore more nuance, because this is what we do, but she deserves that. And he then said there was an intention behind this choice. It was far from roulette. It wasn't random. I remember we had discussions 9 years ago. We were talking about who's next. The very, very instant answer was Ciri. There are many reasons behind that. We've already mentioned a few, but she really deserves a stage, and we want players to really experience her story because she has so much to tell, so much to prove. And I think that's really what it comes down to, right? She deserves a stage. This female character deserves a stage. We want players to really experience her story because she has so much to tell. It's all about replacing the male character with a female character. The amount of challenges that are in front of her give us so much amazing energy and fuel to create an epic saga that we had no choice but to go with it. We all felt that this is the way. I believe this is the super right choice. I think he's going to learn that it is not the right choice. I think that it'll probably do decent with this first game, but I think that moving forward, the saga will not do as well. I think you're going to see massive diminishing returns. It's going to look like the Spider-Man franchise, Marvel Spider-Man, 23 million total units sold for the first one, less than half that. I think like 10 million for the second one. So I think that's what you'll see. I think you'll see decent numbers here for this first one, and then significant diminishing returns moving forward as people realize what this game is going to be. And I think that this game is going to be chock full of feminism and the DEI agenda, mainly because they are clearly replacing Geralt with Ciri. They are changing Ciri. They are saying that she is indeed a Witcher. She has gone through the trial of grasses. And then they're going to talk about how, like, you can define who Ciri is, even though she's admitting she's a defined character. And then point to, obviously, all of the stuff that's on their website, their adherence to DEI and ESG. And when you post that stuff, you put it in your games too. And that's what these companies do time and time again. Now, maybe CD Projekt Red will eschew that, but time will tell. We shall see. But let me know what you guys make of these new details on why CD Projekt Red chose Ciri as the main protagonist. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, and to always, always speak the truth.